Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show on this Monday. I'm Peter Martin. Thank you very much for your company. You can interact with us on Facebook, YouTube and, of course, Twitter as well. Alan Ruff and Barry Ferguson are my guests in the studio. And as ever, we'll try and talk about football, but there are other issues. We want to talk about football on this show as often as possible, but right now, never mind Scottish football, the UK is in the midst of unruly fan behaviour which is jeopardising the safety of players. I can't believe it started Ruffy on Friday night. I was there, Hibs against Rangers. A fan comes on and attacks James Tavernier. James Tavernier did well to control his emotions on it. It was scandalous.
Yeah, it certainly was, and we spoke about it in the show last week, and we spoke about how difficult it is for the police to actually, or stewards, to actually go into a crowd and actually pinpoint somebody. But this is an ideal opportunity that we have pinpointed somebody. He's isolated himself with all his mates, and we've got him. And I've said on numerous occasions, this is the time to act. This is the time to punish the individual so everybody else round about sees this is what you're going to get. And I know it's difficult when somebody goes into court because there's regulations and procedures, what you've got. But I think somebody's got to set something out, whether it's 6 months in jail or whatever. You know, let everybody else know this is the punishment.
And to her credit, on the night, the Hibernian Chief Executive, Leanne Dempster, came out and spoke to everyone, including a one-to-one with myself, to explain how she felt about this incident.
I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for this fantastic support who come out and look at and who come out and support the club every single week. They are now going to be tarnished with these stupid individuals, and it's unacceptable.
How did James Tavernier react to your apology?
I mean, he was very gracious. I mean, obviously, I apologised to him on behalf of the club and told him I felt it was unacceptable and I wanted him to know that the individual was in custody and that he would be banned from this stadium for life. He was very gracious. He took the apology, and I'm grateful that he did.
What could you put down to the conduct of supporters now? They just don't seem to be getting the message.
I think the vast majority of supporters get the message. I think there is definitely, it would appear to be an element, whether it be, I don't know the number, right? I don't know the number, I'm not deflecting. But we need to be as hard as we possibly can be. And we have been hard, but we're going to be harder again. You know, it's never easy to pick out individuals and crowds, etc. But this idiot, and that's a fair description. You know, he was caught, he's in custody, and as far as I'm concerned, that's where he should remain.
If you name and shame them, Barry, there is, of course, the threat of a punishment from the authorities. So the police can hand out, once they eventually charge someone, they go to court. There could be, obviously, a situation where they're jailed. They're definitely banned, as Leanne mentioned there. But if you name and shame them as well, the repercussions then go into their employment. Yep. Because I think some employers will want to distance themselves from people who clearly think thuggery is acceptable.
Totally agree with you, Peter. I think naming and shaming them is the way to go. Fair play to Hibs and Leanne Dempster coming straight out after the game and apologising, obviously, to James Tavernier and Rangers Football Club. And she's right in what she's doing. The guy will be banned for life. And name and shame the person, because these idiots, I feel sorry, as I've said before plenty of times, I feel sorry for the vast majority of football fans. They go there to support their club and watch players put on a show, whether it be a Saturday or a Tuesday night, whatever day it is. So naming and shaming these guys and getting them out the way of football is what's, for me, is the way to go forward. Because I think these individuals are ruining what I think's been a a very good football season on the pitch.
Yeah, and of course, right after the game as well, you like to think you can talk to the managers about the 1-1 draw that unfolded, but Stephen Gerrard, the Rangers manager, ended up again talking about fan behaviour.
Obviously very disappointed to hear that. We've had an apology off Hibs. We'll accept the apology, but again, I'm talking about fan behaviour, which is disappointing. So I don't really know what to say, because it seems as if it's every press conference, certainly in the last 2-3 weeks. So, but we appreciate the apology. James, I'm sure, appreciates the apology, and we accept it and move on.
Well, there was an immediate reaction from right across the board. The SPFL Chief Executive Neil Doncaster responded from the collective. We utterly condemn the reprehensible behaviour shown by an individual who invaded the pitch on Friday night in the Hibs versus Rangers match. We welcome comments made by Chief Executive Leanne Dempster in tackling unacceptable conduct. We will review the specific circumstances of that event in conjunction with the match delegate and the police and take any appropriate steps. Well, over and above that, I think the real worry is, of course, for players' safety. PFA Chief Executive Fraser Wishart immediately released a statement after the game saying, "We find ourselves at a loss for words after yet another incident at a football ground which has endangered the safety of one of our members. We previously used the term Groundhog Day, and we can't believe we are back here discussing this topic again, just days after a bottle was thrown at a player during a match at Easter Road. We commend James Tavernier for his calm handling of the situation last night. We also welcome Leanne Dempster's swift condemnation of the incident and her comments that nothing is off the table with regards to sanctions and action. It is clear that the current processes in place are not working, and we call for open and candid discussions between the relevant authorities to ensure that these dangerous practices are stopped once and for all." Well, the punishment, Barry, suddenly could be, a stand closed, playing behind closed doors completely. Some people have suggested deducting points. I don't think that's fair on the clubs.
No, and I'll go back to, I feel for the fans, the vast majority of fans who, as I said before, want to go and support their team and watch their team play a game of football. But something needs to be done about it, Peter. This can't keep happening. Whether that is closing stands, I'm with you. I don't think deducting points is the way to go. But my worry is, and I'm sure players, when they're going out in the park, I mean, that incident on Friday night, you don't know, that guy could have a weapon on him. You just don't know what they're carrying these days. So
I don't think he was. I'll tell you one thing which was lucky for James Tavernier. You didn't know what he was carrying, but he didn't. He wasn't as I think as reckless as the guy who attacked Jack Grealish. I mean,
that was ridiculous.
we can't get to a point where we're starting to say, well, it wasn't as bad as it's still an attack.
Yep.
Thankfully, James remained calm, but Jack Grealish, that was a lucky one as well. And Chris Smalling's also had a fan rushing towards him too. This is all over the weekend.
Yep, I couldn't believe what I seen in that Birmingham derby. That guy attacking him from behind. Again, he could have a denting on him, whether that be a weapon, a knife, a bottle. And I seen that guy, swift that action was taken.
Yeah, 14 weeks he got.
I start talking 14 months at least. 14 weeks for me is not enough. I know he's been named and shamed, but that guy shouldn't be allowed near a football game ever again.
Ruffy, it's hard to believe, we get to almost the end before we hit our quiz question. It was 1-1 at Rangers at Easter Road. They slipped up. They thought it was going to be almost the end of any faint title hopes they had.
Yes, but obviously they didn't know what was going to happen the next day. But you're right, they had the first half to put that game to bed. They never took their chances. And again, you're looking at Morales. When Morales isn't scoring goals, they're not as confident as what they are, and again, when he's scoring goals, they win comfortably. When he doesn't, it's a wee bit of a struggle, and that's what it turned out to be.
Yeah, and of course, Barry, in the end, I think Rangers should have been 4 or 5 up in the first half alone. I thought they were going to run away with it. Hibs somehow got back into it. They're a pale shadow, Hibs, of the Neil Lennon Hibs side.
Yeah, they're not the same team for me. But talking about Rangers, that game should have been dead and buried. I'm sure Stephen Gerrard will be a frustrated manager. The amount of chances they created, they should have, as you say, it could have been 3, 4, 5 at half time. When you don't get that second goal and kill it off, there is always a chance, whether the team's playing good or bad, that they've got a chance of getting back into the game.
Yep, you can give us your view on that match. We're also going to look back over all the games in the Premiership over the weekend. We'll look ahead to the 2 cup replays after this quiz question. I know for a fact that Ruffy on our quiz is thinking that seems like yesterday, but it's going to be run all the way through this week, and you can win a fabulous prize if you want to enter our competition. You can get the details across all our social media. So what happened over the weekend, as well as Hibs against Rangers, our reporter Gabriel Antoniazzi takes you through the 5 games that have been played so far.
The weekend started with a 1-1 draw between Rangers and Hibs on Friday night. Hibs equalised late on in a game which Rangers dominated, but the match was overshadowed by another unsavoury incident, as a man was arrested after running onto the pitch and confronting Rangers captain James Tavernier. Celtic could not capitalise on the Gers' drop points, as they were held to a stalemate by the resolute Aberdeen. It may have been Neil Lennon's return to Celtic Park, but it was the first time the champions did not win a domestic match at home this season. A scrappy Sean Clare goal was the difference between the two sides at Dens, with Hearts now moving level on points with Kilmarnock. Dundee boss Jim McIntyre was right to feel hard done by in defeat, but they must start finding points from somewhere if they hope to survive. Livingston moved within a point of St Johnstone as they came from behind to win 3-1 against the Perth outfit. It's now no wins in 9 for Tommy Wright's men, who have been the worst team in the Premiership since the turn of the year, with only 4 points to their name. The opposite can be said of Motherwell, whose form since the new year is only bettered by Celtic. A 3-0 win for the Well in the Lanarkshire derby saw in-demand teenagers David Turnbull and Jake Hasty start again, sharing the goals between them.
Yeah, well, Ruffy, it looked as if everybody was heading to the east end of Glasgow wearing green and white, thinking they were going to get the 3 points, but Aberdeen have been great on the road. Yeah, they certainly have this year. We've spoke about it on numerous occasions. You know, the stumbling block for them was when they came down to Glasgow to play Rangers or Aberdeen, they fall flat in their face, but that doesn't seem to be the case just now, whether they got Celtic in an off day or whatever, but that will give them belief that they can come down to Glasgow more often and get something out of the 2 big ones. I always think, Barry, you know, as well as everybody looking, and certainly the Celtic board looking for a smooth transition between Brendan Rodgers and Neil Lennon, he's got a difficult job because he'll be a different style of manager. They're used to Brendan Rodgers. Some of the players have been signed by Brendan Rodgers, and suddenly it's almost as if he's just trying to get the best out of them without having any negative impacts being in the dugout as a different manager. I mean, they drew against Aberdeen. They're still 8 points clear with 9 games left. Yeah, look, 8 points clear. They're still favourites to win the league. I'm sure I've heard Neil Lennon speak a few times saying that he would like to change some certain things, the way the Celtic team have been playing under Brendan Rodgers, but he can't come in and change a lot. You can't do that. But whether he's going to be there in the summer, then I think there's still got to be a big rebuild at Celtic, and I'm sure Neil Lennon will want to be there to do that. Yep, OK, they've still got the advantage. Is there any way Rangers can catch them with 9 games to go? Give us your thoughts across all our social media on Facebook, YouTube and of course Twitter as well. We'd love to hear from you. Ruffy, over and above that, the Lanarkshire derby, I think we might have all predicted that maybe Motherwell were going to get there, but certainly not as emphatically as they did. No, Hamilton went there, I think, the last time, and I think they won 3-0, but this game was done and dusted in 15 minutes. You know, the chances that came along, Motherwell took them. The first one was a bit of a sclaff, but you'll take anything. But again, it's the young boys that are coming up with the goods for Motherwell, and that can only be good for them. Yep, it was good stuff from them, and a number of the Motherwell players are all coming out now and saying, you know, Jake Hasty, they hope that he will decide to stay at Motherwell, although it looks as if Rangers could be nipping in there with a pre-contract. If they do, it's a hot young prospect. Yeah, he certainly impressed me, Peter. This is his first real season. He was out on loan at Alloa, done pretty well, and he's come
come back to Motherwell, and he certainly impressed me. For me, I think it would be better if he gets a number of games under his belt. But listen, when a team like Rangers come calling, obviously he's going to be interested. And is he going to go to Rangers and play? You don't know. You can never tell. I just think it's important for young players to get a certain amount of games under their belt, gain that experience. And then someday will get his big move, because he's certainly got a lot of quality.
Yeah. Do you think he'd sit in? If you were his agent, would you say to him, look, sit in, couple of years playing at Motherwell?
Well, if he's playing the way, if he's going to play the way he is playing now, there's teams that are always going to be interested in him. For me, I just like to see young boys go and get 2 or 3 years under their belt. He's seen his teammate, he's signed Turnbull, who I think is a fantastic young footballer. I think he's done the right thing in signing a 3-year contract with Motherwell. And if you keep impressing on the pitch, you're always going to get teams interested in you.
Looking at some of the other results, Ruffy, I asked Jim McIntyre earlier on last week if he had enough in reserve. I still think they'll get out of it, but they won't be getting out of it any of their defending like the match against Hearts. I mean, the goal from Sean Clare was laughable.
Yeah, it was a comedy cut, wasn't it? It was one of the ones you're just looking for somebody to put their foot through it and clear it, and none of the defenders did that at all. I only saw the highlights of the game, but I know you're saying they didn't win the game, but I was pretty impressed with them. I thought they had chances to get something out of the game, which is always good. All right, you want to be winning games, but if you keep saying to yourself, look, we're creating chances, one day we're going to get them, then you can get out of the mess that they're in. But you're right, you know, but we've spoke about it on numerous occasions. It's the St Mirren Hamilton Accy games that are the ones that are going to determine what's going to happen at the bottom of that league. If
you're a manager, Barry, like Tommy Wright, you're easily going. There's no wins in 9 now for St Johnstone, and only 1 draw out of them. The rest of them have all been defeats. I mean, they have gone from here, crashed down again. You must have been saying to them, look, this is Livingston. It's either a long throw in or a cross into the box, and that's how they were dismantled.
Yeah, look, you know the way Livingston play, and it suits them. Listen, if they want to play that way, and it means getting 3 points on the board, fair play to Livingston. But talking about St Johnstone, Tommy Wright will be a frustrated figure up there. As you mentioned there, 9 games, 8 defeats and 1 draw. It's worrying times up at St Johnstone. But I still think, look, he's been a fantastic manager for St Johnstone. I still think he'll get them through this difficult period and back to winning ways, I'm sure. Yeah.
Any arguments over what we decided last week about St Mirren against Kilmarnock? I'm going for Kilmarnock, Barry.
I'm Kilmarnock as well.
Ruffy?
I can't remember. I think I maybe had a chance. I think I maybe gambled and going for St Mirren. I'll have to check that one. I'm not too sure.
OK, here's a look at the Premiership table to give you a little sense of how it's all looking top and bottom. Still that 8-point difference there. Aberdeen, Kilmarnock, Hearts and Hibs, with Motherwell, Ruffy, still with ambitions of getting into the top 6.
Yeah, I'm sure the players and the management will look at that table. They'll look at the games that are coming up and the form that they're in. They'll be quite happy to take on anybody. And as they're sitting just now, in the form that they're in just now, who's to say they wouldn't be in that top 6?
Yeah, OK. A couple of games, couple of Scottish Cup replays. It's still huge. I think Rangers have the advantage now, Barry, at home. But when you look, and I've mentioned Aberdeen's away for them, this really is make or break for Stephen Gerrard and Derek McInnes.
Yeah, well, talking about Aberdeen, they've been down to Glasgow at the weekend and get a great point against Celtic, so it's going to be a tough game. It's always a tough game against Aberdeen. But for me, I think Rangers do have enough quality to win this game, but it's going to be tough. Derek's now got his team coming down to Glasgow, where they always get criticised that they came down here and never get many points. Now they're starting to get points, they're starting to play a certain way, so it's going to be a tough night for Rangers, but I'm sure with the home crowd behind them, I think Rangers will win it.
Yeah, the one thing I would say about Rangers at times is they've got to go 2 goals up before they start to get that comfortable feeling. I've seen numerous games where you think they're going to win it by a barrel load and they don't.
Yeah, but as I said in that previous game, if you're Steven Gerrard and you're creating chances and you know you should be scoring, that's always a good thing, because you're going to say, right, they're going to hit the back at some time, sooner or later. I think the big miss for Aberdeen's the boy Cosgrove up front. You know, he's been in good form, scoring goals. So I just can't see Aberdeen having 2 goals in them. I think they'll need that to beat Rangers.
Yeah, I'm going to nip through to Tynecastle, Ruffy, to see if you guys can pull off a shock on this one. I have to say, I still think Hearts might just edge it, but, surely Scott McDonald gets a run out this time, Ruffy.
Yeah, then the form he was on at the weekend, he was just your usual absolute pest for 90 minutes, and the Dundee United boys just didn't know what to handle him. So I'm obviously better, and I'll know what to expect if he's playing. But it'll be a tough one for us. It's a different level. We had four 18-year-olds in our team. They've got like 6 or 7 internationalists. So it's a hard ask, but the players will go through with a wee bit of confidence, and hopefully they can get something.
Yeah, will you be jumping up and down in the director's box again?
As usual, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Barry, are you going to go for the Jags or Hearts briefly?
You never know, but listen, I've got to go. I think Hearts have got enough quality to just pip it.
Yeah, there you are. There's the opinion, Ruffy.
Yeah.
Both of us are.
I'm happy the 2 of you went for that in the first round.
Yeah, okay. Now that you've reminded us. Anyway, thank you very much to everyone for interacting with us. Don't forget, Monday to Friday, you can join us on the programme. You can give us your thoughts on social media as well. Hugh McDonald will be with us tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.